Behind the scenes is important, man.
Time to finish what I started. It's a beautiful feeling to know I put my heart in. I'm all in. Picking up the broken pieces. I done had my share of lessons and no life a teacher. This beat be talking to my soul like it was a preacher. This for them late nights on the road, so turn up your speaker flow, call, turn up the heater. Bet on me, go all in. If I try and I fail, I'ma try it again. I won't stop until I win. Time to finish what I started. It's a beautiful feeling to know I put my heart in. I'm all in. Everything I wanna know, I'm really about to have it to it.
You know what I'm saying? So they doing the same shit the other banks doing, give or take. Credit unions are more likely to do the right thing. Canadian banks, the other countries are strict with their shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about Mexico, but Canada, they strict with their shit. Just like we got programs in America that's strict with their shit. FHA, VA, they don't do that risky shit. In theory, so when they say the mortgage is A paper or A grade, it's something, it's a 30-year fix, whatever the going rate is. That's what the mortgage is. So the person got a 700 credit score, pretty good payment history. So, automatically that's shown as a good mortgage. But then you got, fucking hard money, that's low credit score, low loan to value, that's the damn near, usury. The interest rate is mad high. You only get a certain limit to you. It's like 75% limit to how much they cover as far as the the value of the house. And those are high risk loans because the people have low credit, bad credit, whatever the case is. And they just need something to kind of bail them out. So you got that range of, and then, then the subprime, which is somewhere in the middle. Subprime is, under prime. They get a higher rate, but usually they have a lower credit score. So, they kind of compromise, they want to, in theory, they want to get people with not as good credit in the house, regardless of, what the real intent is. That's how it's presented. You know what I'm saying? So with this shit, usually if you do an investment, or not even usually, because it's all kind of new, when you do investments and it's presented as A paper, it's usually constructed of a whole bunch of A paper loans. That's low risk, blah, blah, blah. So it's sold as that. In the case of what they doing now, or was doing, the whole thing behind 2008, is they wrapping bullshit loans up and still calling it A paper or A grade. So they have mortgages, which mortgages are, usually customarily good loans to make or good loans to invest in, because they usually, in order to get a mortgage, you got to have pretty good credit in the first place.
Right.
But in this case, they just, the worst of the worst loans that, they just, they had, Nina, no income, no assets. Everything is just assumed. You just put down whatever the fuck. Then there's, stated income, stated assets, where you just write down some shit. They don't check. All these loans is being, originated. And, it's like, how the fuck do this work? As a loan officer, I don't know how the fuck they do this, but they pay pretty good doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? So you're in an awkward position because you don't know how. Like I didn't know how they coming up with this shit.
Well, shoot.
All I know is you put the numbers in. You know what I'm saying. You know whether you doing getting a desktop underwriting, whatever the case is, where you trying to get a paper and it's approved, whatever the case is, you apply. If it's approved, good. If it's not, then you gotta fix some shit. So it's all about, kind of, making shit work. You know what I'm saying?
So explain what we talking about as far as the whole Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs is just another bank. It's one of the big banks, prestigious or whatever. And they, the fact that they involved in this shit just show you how mainstream it is. These ways of going about business nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like they willing to gamble, with money and shit.
So let me ask you this before you explain it fully. What firm were you connected with?
Fucking what? I wasn't with no firm. What you mean? I was with a brokerage company.
Okay.
You asked me that.
Okay. Yeah.
I ain't telling you the name of the place.
Well, yeah.
The name of the place is still in operation.
You was connected with a brokerage company when this went on.
I work for one. Yeah.
Right. That's all I was saying. You didn't have to get a name. You know what I'm saying? Just so people would know that you coming from a viewpoint of actually.
Yeah, I saw
putting
that
your
shit.
finger on it. You was actually putting your finger on it and putting the pen to it.
It was like January 2007 is when the shit started falling apart. Like you calling banks. You already got deals with the banks, like trying to close a loan or whatever. And you call a bank, and the bank is just no longer there. Like it's no longer in operation. So it's like, what the fuck? One day. Like, I had a few deals that was closed already and was in the middle of what they call a rescission period. Like, they give you 3 days for the borrower to change their mind and shit. If you're doing a refi or whatever the case is, refinance or whatever. So, I got deals that's ready to close in a couple days and the bank just went out of fucking business, nigga. Either filed bankruptcy or just went out of business, nigga. Like, not even responding to calls and shit. Because it's, it's a process. Once you close it, it's 3 days. If they don't come back, if the borrower don't come back with a rebuttal or, wanting to change some shit or, back out or whatever the case is, it's automatic. The shit funds. You go pick your check up from the title company and goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Company get half, I get half. I'm, making 50%, whatever the case is. But in this case, nothing. Like, so it's one day you call or try to contact and you can't. And there were certain websites we went to just to see the status of banks. And you go to this website and one by one, there's a list of banks that's bankruptcy or, bankrupt or, out of business. It was, I remember certain banks, I ain't gonna say their names and shit, but, banks that was open for years and fucking decades and centuries, nigga, and just went out of business. You know what I'm saying? So, Goldman Sachs ain't necessarily special. It was just one of the big banks that was involved in it. And I think they had to pay back a whole lot of money because it was found responsible for, that whole wrapping bullshit mortgages up and calling it a paper. So the investor looks at it as a good investment, when come to find out, it's all bullshit. That's the whole thing with that 2008 shit. It was when they started calling them on them. Like you have it presented as a grade situation, and if somebody comes, it's like, yo, I need to sell an investment or break it up and sell it in pieces. You break it up and you realize, like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, when it's wrapped up, it's worth $100,000. But when you break it all down and look at it individually and count it up and add it up, it's worth negative $25,000 because there's a lot of debt and bullshit involved with it. So
involved in the loan
yeah,
or the property.
The loan, like
Involved in the property.
the value, the paperwork for the property, for the bank to finance that property. You know what I'm saying? So
you said there were liens.
they put
on the
value,
paperwork.
No, on the property itself.
On the property.
Right. So
you can't sell a property with liens on it though, right?
Well,
somebody got to pay
the
their
bank.
liens.
The bank ain't gonna finance it. If you want to buy it and you got the money, you can buy shit.
Right.
And just buy it with the liens.
With
but
the liens.
a bank. You know, usually banks ain't gonna finance it if it got liens attached.
But they were letting them go through.
Well, I don't want to say that particular thing as far as the liens, but just bad loans, like we were saying, like loans with. There's a part in the movie where they talking to a stripper, and The Big Short, and he trying to get information, on the ground level, people with properties, what's the situation, what's really going on. So he talking to her, and he under the assumption that she owned one house, so she telling him how she got the house and shit. She ain't have to prove nothing, show no pay stubs and none of that shit, bank deposits. Everything was just assumed. She just wrote down some shit. And he was like, why? And somehow she came out to say she had like 8 houses, nigga. And he was just like, oh. Because that kind of let him know, like, they giving away loans. So she got 8. How many do the rest of these motherfuckers got? Like, it's all bullshit. I own 8 houses, nigga. How the fuck can you afford that? You can't. Like, it's so obvious, but that's what they was doing, like just giving loans away and shit. You know what I'm saying? So when it come time, if you're doing an adjustable rate mortgage, it's gonna adjust at some point to the current rate. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that was the rates adjusting. Like if you paying 3% on a 3-year adjustable rate mortgage, at the end of that 3-year period, it's going to adjust to whatever the rate is then. So if you have a crisis like that shit was, and your shit come, adjust at that moment, if the rate is 12%, nigga, that's what your mortgage going to become. So now you paying 4 times what you was paying before, which you couldn't afford in the first place. Now and people was just like walking the fuck away, like, I can't afford this shit. Like I was paying $400 a month. Now you telling me I gotta pay $1,600, or I was paying $1,000. Now you telling me I gotta pay $4,000 a month? How the fuck am I supposed to afford that? And it's just like, well, that's how it worked. You got an adjustable rate mortgage, and it adjusted, so you stuck with it. The reason it was given, a lot of adjustable rate mortgages, because motherfuckers was paying good. That's what usually drive a loan officer. The points you can make. You got your great credit people who you ain't gonna jeopardize the business by charging them a lot. You're gonna charge them a half a point because they can go anywhere. But when you have to start getting creative and shit, you charge more, and people are usually willing to pay more because they know they got a touchy situation. But some people just don't fucking know.
Right, that's what I was going to ask too. Was it that people didn't understand the lingo,
yeah, unless you
the rhetoric behind the paperwork, so they just jumped into the loan?
Well, no, people trust. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, like with the great people with like 800 credit and shit, they know the reason they got 800 credit is because they usually pay attention to this kind of shit. They know they ain't gonna pay no whole bunch. We call them niggas deadbeats in the business, or used to. I don't know whatever case is now, but we used to call them deadbeats because we don't make no money off them. The people with great credit, because they know the game. The people that don't know the game is usually the people who, even if they have good credit, they don't have a lot of experience, with the process. They don't know the process with refinancing and shit like that, or how banks work. They kind of, inherited good credit, whatever the case is. But after a few conversations, you know who's up on their shit and who ain't. If you able to be creative and they shopped it around and 3 motherfuckers couldn't do it and you can, you know, that's a natural, you know, happiness and relief. You know, but if they just don't know and you the only motherfucker they dealing with, and you give them a not as decent rate and charge them 4 on the back or some ridiculous shit, sometimes people don't know, so they go for it. Or if you could get them an A paper rate and you decide you can get paid more by giving them B paper shit, some people don't know. You can get away with it. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of tricks in the game, you know what I'm saying? But the main thing is, because, you know, even back then, we used to comment on Canada, like Canada ain't doing none of that shit. They sticking to their guns. They ain't got all that volatile shit, that risky ass shit. And, you know, when the crisis hit, supposedly they didn't get hit as hard. So, you know what I'm saying? That whole thing. The conservative entities usually, you know, survive shit like that because.
So, the history behind Goldman Sachs.
What about
it? Isn't really a good. They don't have the greatest history.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily just them. It's the culture. It's they all doing that. You know, what they call it, credit default swaps and shit like that. Like, you know, it's not even worth getting into because, you know, like betting against themselves and shit. Like
betting against yourself.
Yeah, it's like everything is fair. It's all fair game. Like there's no real rules and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why they can do what they do. And the fucking government just be like, okay, here's some more money. Like, you know, they getting rich just on a daily. And when shit fuck up, the government just give them money to replace whatever money they fucked up. It's crazy. So why not try all these crazy risks and shit and rob people and steal and all this other shit? If the government just going to back you up.
So what risk does that stand? Do you feel like that stands with the whole $10 billion being what we explain? We come back to explain. You know, the last episode of Goldman Sachs giving the $10 billion to black women. So, with that being said, what risk does that entail with that whole situation? Dealing with an entity that is involved in corruption.
Yeah. Well, like Big said, that black dude is a part of it. You know, a lot of the immigrant women are like, some of it is natural, some of it is doing other motherfuckers' bidding. They see niggas in a certain way. You know, a lot of this shit is tribal, so they can remove themselves from the whole white and black argument. You know what I'm saying? And aside from that, they want to be successful in their field, so they're willing to do certain things. There's no real loyalty to black people in America because they don't see themselves as that. So, you know, like they'll talk about their own country with the utmost respect, but so it's not like they don't get it. It's you know, it's deliberate. You know what I'm saying? Like they trash niggas, but speak highly of themselves. Like, you know, like I said, it's a little. Some of it is natural, like from upbringing and shit. They taught to feel a certain way, but some of it is corporate. Like, we need you to do this, or, you know, going alongside the whole stay away from niggas argument from their family is kind of corporate setting, kind of, you know, pushing that same point. You know, if you get successful, don't waste your time investing in the hood. You know, not only don't waste your time, but I don't want you to. If I see you doing it, I'm gonna have a talk with you. You know, corporate people get that they can't have successful niggas, the few that make it through the, you know what I'm saying? They can't have them going back to the hood. That's kind of the point of, you know, adopting one nigga to be the successful one. Or two or three, whatever the case is. The mindset is always the same. They're not going to see the worth in investing in the hood. Because they can't. Even if they want to. That's what made Nipsey so dangerous. Malcolm X so dangerous. They had the hood with them. Like, you know, doing the right thing. And you get respect in the hood. Like, it don't matter how white people see you or the establishment see you, because your people see you a certain way. If you have power among your people, the white people gonna come. And you could talk the biggest shit and treat them like shit. They ain't gonna mean a thing because they see the power in it. You know, they be willing to take you, you know, seeing through their bullshit, still saying, fuck it, I'm gonna get this check. They can get that, but that shit don't offend them because they see the benefit. Like, you know, we gotta get this nigga, so it's gonna take what it's gonna take. Try to get him away from that way of thinking. You know, you can't have loyalty to the hood and make it in this shit.
I'm trying to follow you.
I don't even know what you asked, nigga. Oh yeah, why is Goldman Sachs or whatever with the $10 billion?
I mean, yeah, why is that a threat? Why is that a threat?
Because you have, okay,
their history. Why is that a threat?
Well, it's not. Goldman Sachs is just a bank. Like, they just all fucking fucked up. There's no moral guidance or none of that shit. It's all just money. However we can, we gonna rob, steal, and whatever. For it. We get caught, we gonna, you know, pay that money and shit, but it ain't gonna stop us from breaking the law and shit. Like, we gonna try to find the loopholes. If we can't, then we gonna do what we gotta do and try to hide it. That whole thing. So, they ain't special in that whole thing. You know, as far as black women concerned, you know, they systematically been shutting niggas down for the last, however long, since we've been here really, but a concerted effort since like the 80s and shit. After the 70s, I think the 70s was like a planned decade. And the 80s was when they implemented a lot of that shit. COINTELPRO and shit. They studied it for a while and came up with some shit. Like, okay, this is what we gonna do. So for the last like 40 years, I think, the game has been to, you know, kind of elevate the woman and do everything they can to destroy the man. And you can see it.
So let me ask you this then: why Goldman Sachs?
No. It's not the name really. It is the name because they one of them.
Right? Why them? Why not Chase?
I don't think that
Why
matters. It don't really matter who. It's where they coming from, and they all kind of about the same thing. To say you invest in $10 billion in, you know, one particular group, subset of a group, like I said about the, you know, Puerto Ricans and Mexicans and shit, they ain't having it. Don't use our women to push your shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just giving away money. It's we gonna do this together. You know, endowments and shit like come with whatever it come with. It's not just giving it and you do what you will. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm listening. I'm coming up with my own perspective of it because I see like how.
So the reason it's a problem is you already have. Even when I was in high school, black women was doing better than the dudes. You know, more discipline, more focus and shit. And, you know, we got that whole thing with us where we don't want to be smart and shit. We don't want to appear smart, that old stupid shit. But it's real. Like, I felt it, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I did the bare minimum just to pass and shit. Whatever the case is. But the girls ain't fuck around. Like, all the girls that made it a point was in the honor roll and shit. That I remember, you know what I'm saying? And it was a goal to do that. So the longer time go by like that, where, you know, there's a certain genuine, you know, aspect of it where, you know, if you're in a single parent home and the parent is a woman, the girl is going to benefit more than the boy because she got a direct reflection on what she need to be, what she's going to become. The boy is trying to figure that whole shit out, but the girl can see. Just like if it was just a father and not a mother in the house, the boy would benefit more from the father being there than the girl because he got a direct reflection on where he need to be. So a lot of, you know, single family, you know, single parent shit, you know, and we see it. The boys have a complex. The girls do too, but it's a different complex because their mother was there and they learned how to be a woman to whatever degree from seeing their mama. The boy didn't have that, so he always yearned for that, you know, just to be able to experience that on a day-to-day basis. A father waking up, what did my father do when he wake up? You know, that day-to-day shit, hour to hour, minute to minute, how he handles shit, you know,
right.
What's expected of me because my father, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, with that being said, the girls have that confidence and have had that confidence to, you know, succeed, to fucking, you know, rise to the top. You know, that's a part of it. Like, I want that for myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't wait. You know, especially seeing a single mother, I can't depend on a man because look at my mama. Look at my mama. You know what I'm saying? So they got the goal of being independent and shit. Not even necessarily that they want to be that way. It's all defense. You know, defense mechanisms. Like, I can't be broke and shit. Like my mama alone without a man. So I gotta do everything I can. You know what I'm saying? So while they going like that, the trajectory, niggas got everything against them, man. Like, even if you're successful in your work, the social shit that come with being black in America is still heavy. Like, you can ignore it all you want, but it's there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we, especially being who we are, you know, we alphas, man. We, you know, I don't even know if there's anything you can do. Like, I see my nephew growing up, and I see how it's kind of inherent, like fucking biggity shit, like
what?
biggity? You know
biggity?
What I mean? Yeah, like
explain
it. Not arrogant, you know, just throwing your swag around.
You saying that he is?
Yeah, my nephew. Like, I know I'm a fucking god. Like, sometimes it's inherent. Like, niggas broad shoulders and shit, like talking shit, and how the grown-ups respond to that is how they gonna move forward with it. Like, I don't knock it. I tell him, don't you fucking disrespect me, period. Like, me in particular, but I don't mind that fucking, you know, because he know how important grades are. Not to impress the motherfuckers, but for his own. You know what I'm saying? Like, my sisters do a good job with him. Like, he get a lot of shit. And he you know, he biggity with his shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Talking shit.
I mean, I feel you. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Long
right.
as your business.
So
as long as he doing what he's supposed to be doing, then shit.
So
you should walk with your head
with those upbringings, when they get out into the real world, they got people
that in his life.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, to whatever degree.
But he's there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's that's what's up. Because, and like I said, I don't. As long as you doing what you're supposed to be doing, because I can remember somebody told me, somebody actually told me some years ago. You know, I see I know one thing your father taught you was to walk with your head high. I'm like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? I mean,
you know ain't nothing. Why you got some stupid shit like ain't nothing wrong with that?
No, I know. I'm saying in my head, I'm saying, what's wrong with that?
You ain't ask yourself that.
Yeah, I did. That's
you
what
said
I did.
probably. Yeah, my pops got there and told. Why you gotta be divisive, nigga? Cut that shit out.
Who's being divisive? I just asked. I just said in my head,
what's wrong with that?
Yeah, well, like why would somebody even act?
Because she don't see a lot of people with their head up high. Why you do that? What's wrong with that?
No, they
she ain't saying nothing wrong, nigga. Sarcastically?
I can't even say that.
She was being sarcastic when she said it?
Yeah, they were trying to be sarcastic when they said it.
Because your pops walk with his head out?
Man, I don't know why they were trying to be sarcastic when they said it. It was the way that they said it. You know what I'm saying? It made it sarcastic. And I was like, wow, am I wrong for having my father in my life? You know what I'm saying? Or something? Is that a problem for me to have my father in my life?
I used to cut grass when I was like 13 and shit. And I had, older dudes with, for the neighbors and shit, I cut their shit, get paid. The older cats, will walk by like, do boy, shit like that. I'd be like, yo, the fuck? That's just niggas talking shit. Like, he probably respected it, but gotta say something stupid. You know what I'm saying? Do boy. Even though I'm getting paid to work. You know what I'm saying? You can't
keep talking.
Worry about shit like that. Yeah, so yeah, what was you talking about?
Yo, if you're walking with his head high.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so, yeah, some people can't handle it.
What you mean?
That's a good thing. They used to seeing niggas with their head down and shit. So they see you, goddamn, with your shoulders up and shit. Let me see that. I'm serious. And they like, damn, that nigga goddamn feel good about himself.
Right.
Then I make them think about how they feel about themselves. And it's like, fuck. The fact that he look like he feel good about himself make me feel some kind of way about myself. So fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying? That whole crazy shit. It's all psychological. That's why niggas don't. I can't stand that shit because I be in places, man. I be looking for the niggas. So, throwing a knot up is natural. And a lot of niggas around, especially in Rocky Hill, like, I don't know what the fuck this shit is about. Niggas don't be doing, about half and half. Half of niggas, half of them niggas be like, yeah, what the fuck, nigga? Like they ashamed or something. I notice it. It happened more than I'm used to. Just in that particular area. Charlotte ain't real like that. Them niggas don't give a fuck in Charlotte, nigga.
So to take this
low life or not.
So take this, whatever they're trying to pass out through this $10 billion, what do you feel, maybe we explained the last one, but to engage into this $10 billion, black women, would that be Do you feel like it would be beneficial, or
Well, it's
depending on how they use it, or
it's like you look at who running this shit. There's a whole lot of black lesbians.
right, taking it from a corrupt.
Well, not even that part. You see the people that's involved in it. A lot of black lesbians, on that Black Lives Matter shit. Which Black Lives Matter is more about women, black women, than it is about anything. And they make it plain. You know what I'm saying? They make it pretty plain when they speak that it's an organization for black women, as opposed to the black family and none of that other shit. The black women. So you have these same people running or involved, like you got the people giving away the money or, delegating whoever get the money. Because it's not a giveaway. It's a come share this money with us. So you got them people who delegating the money, and then you got the second in command, these people down with the agenda. Like a lot of dykes, black lesbians and shit, who make it plain. And a lot of immigrants, black immigrants, who make it plain, like, fuck niggas. Like, black men, they the real problem. But it's not like, if they're Nigerian, it's not like black men including Nigerian men. Nigerian men are all good. It's them niggas from America. Like, they separate. Like, we in a whole different box. So they don't speak on, like, they could be from fucking Trinidad. Trini men is cool, but them niggas in America, fuck them niggas. Or, St. Croix and shit, like, to whatever degree, St. Croix men is cool, but them American niggas, ugh. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas is violent and don't take care of their kids and shit. That's the narrative that been pushed for mad years. You know what I'm saying? So everybody in the world, even if they don't adopt it or buy it, they hear it. That's the narrative all over the world. Black people in America is fucking violent and shit. And all that, all the bad shit. Black. Black itself is a bad fucking term. So based on just that foundation, it's like they associate the worst shit in the world with us. And they present, athletes and actors and shit. Like, if you from another country, what would you think of black people? Like, I know I see Will Smith, but every day on the news they present as rapists and shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck, but I'm gonna go with my gut and stay the fuck away from them because the news say it. You know what I'm saying? So with these people, these immigrants and black lesbians and shit that's for the agenda, it's money to push their shit. So if the girls get chosen or whatever, or, be a part of the shit, that's the agenda that's going to be pushed. Whether or not the girl is receptive or on that shit, I don't know. I guess it's a case-by-case thing, but that's what they're going to be pushing to her, They making the plans for black women. So get all your black women together and let's get this money. It's like, so no black dudes? Nope, just black women. Like, and they getting all this money, and the niggas like, yo, I'm kind of in the same shit, but ain't nobody financing me. So the girl's like, well, I got access to all this money, nigga. You need to get money too. Like, it ain't my fault that you ain't got access to the money I got, access to. And niggas like, shit, I'm doing this shit from the ground up. Like, I get real donations, and the people is helping me out. But here, this fucking corporation just dumping money, and I can't get none of it. Like, they make it plain, like, this ain't for you, nigga. This is for your girl or your sister. This ain't for you. And they monitor the shit. They gonna monitor it. So if the shit starts slipping to where niggas is being able to capitalize, I assume that they gonna be pressing niggas like, this ain't for you. How you get this money? Whatever girl that's in charge or, responsible for getting that money is gonna be under the fucking microscope. Like, ho, you giving men the money that we gave you for your project? Fuck that. That ain't what this is for. You know what I'm saying? This for you. If I catch you doing it again, you out. Like, that whole thing. Yeah, so it don't matter what bank it is. It's just they all with this agenda. And it's just it's a matter of time. Like, when you go back to 9/11, or 9-10 when they said they lost like 2.3 trillion. Ever since that point, nigga, they've been taking all the money. You got Halliburton and shit, no big contracts, you know, black budgets and shit, CIA shit, and, you know, all these crazy amounts, billions to go into the military shit. You know, Carlisle and fucking all these companies, man, all these people that's in cahoots, they just been hoarding mad money. Like, it's crazy that just, you know, now they decide, I figured they would have did it years ago, start directly bribing motherfuckers, you know. But here they are doing it. Like, that's a straight up bribe, nigga. Like, here, come get this money to work against your people.
So you would say there's a degree of caution that needs to be taken once this is enacted.
Well, I just think we know what it is. If you're gonna take it, you gotta have a plan. Like,
right.
You know, I don't, you know, and it's hard to break that shit down because you don't want to seem like you hating on black women. Like, it ain't that I don't want y'all to be successful. Of course I do, but the moves that they forcing us to make is putting a real divide in between us.
Like the squeeze.
Like fucking video games. That shit is sinister. You know? Like, you got a father, and it's usually the father, you know, male parent. Let me see. And he got the system, and the kids got a system, because I ain't playing with you. You play your own shit. You know what I'm saying? And old lady is like, nigga, can you spend some time? All right, let me play the game. Like, oh, I don't know, man. Like, all these distractions and shit that keep us apart and shit. Not a mask thing and COVID and all that bullshit.
So you talking about the distractions? You know, I ain't trying to cut you off from that, but you had sent me and talked about the whole social network.
Right.
Because you know, social media is definitely, I would, you know, consider it being a distraction, depending on how you use it. So let's talk about that. What was your, you know, idea or your thought process when you start thinking about the whole social network?
All right, so I was watching the movie. I like the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was on Hulu and shit. And, you know, I was doing some shit while I was on. I wasn't really watching it. It was on. I'll check it out and get back to what I'm doing type of shit. And I remember the credits, you know, the name Peter Thiel came up. And I just remember his name, like, from a few years ago. Like, you know, of course, you know, Facebook is, to whatever degree, government compromised. You know, the government is, you know, involved in everything. If it's big,
regulated.
Yeah, and guided, and they pretty much. You can't have your own. Once they get involved, your agenda is not really important. It's this at that point. Like, even if it's subtle and gradual, it becomes their thing. Like, you can't maintain ownership with motherfucker over your shoulder controlling shit. To whatever degree he controlling it, it's only going to grow and grow. Like, you intend to take it in this direction, and he's like, nah, hell no. Like, if you do that, it's going to compromise this, so nah, let's not do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you ain't really making the decisions and shit. So you watch that movie, and I see Peter Thiel, he's Palantir, you know. Look at his name, look at him.
Jason Goodman, Queen.
No, nigga. So, Go see where he was. I want to say it's Peter Thiel. I want to say it was PayPal.
What Peter Thiel?
Yeah, where he invented. Yeah, I don't get no fucking service, man.
What other ventures does Peter Thiel have?
According to Wikipedia, he co-founded PayPal in 1999, serving as chief executive officer until it sailed to eBay in 2002 for one.
So, yeah, PayPal. So, but he's also the founder of Palantir. Palantir is like a data mining. They get data, buy data, whatever, accumulate data, and pretty much tell the future and shit. See the future. So much data that they can, based on patterns and shit, kind of see the moves people gonna make, and corporations, the moves they gonna make. Right? Over time, the more data they collect, you know what I'm saying? The more shit you collect about a particular thing, the more you learn about it. The more you learn,
the more you can predict a person's moves.
Right. Yeah. So, so he's that guy. So with Jason Goodman and Quinn Michaels come in, it's like a few years ago when, Quinn Michaels was on his show and he was saying some wild fucking shit, like giving a breakdown on these people and what's really going on, like neutrinos and all this other shit, like shit that was fucking my head up, blowing my mind and shit, like AI and shit. Like he had a real understanding of it and was able to break it down and shit. And he spoke on Peter Thiel and shit, and his real impact, his real mission. Like it's all interconnected with the agenda, like getting niggas fucking. That's not the. It's kind of like the end game is to get niggas tagged and shit, so they can control everything. And that's a way to get closer to that is to use people's data and bet on the future. Internet of bodies, that whole thing, like our bodies are gonna be used like Sims, nigga, simulations and shit. We less predictable, but we still predictable, like they already do it, bet on shit. Bet on niggas getting murdered, bet on niggas dying in car accidents and shit, shooting down planes and shit to make sure they bet, you know what I'm saying? They cover their bet and shit. I know that shit sounds nuts, but yeah, so what other, so they present this social network shit, this Facebook shit as something this homeboy created, and he just, used a couple few people in the process of molding it to what he want, as opposed to, what probably happened, like, there was probably more involved, but they can't really speak on it. Because if they speak on it a little bit, they're going to have to speak on it a lot. Like, what, how far are they involved in this whole thing? Like, we know now that the NSA is, they all spying on us and shit, so I guess it really don't matter, but at that time it did. And people were still willing to put all the information on that bitch.
When you sent me this, who you talking about? You said they say.
I ain't saying that. Question, they what?
Yeah, you sent me that.
I don't know what that means. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, so it's not just Goldman Sachs is evil, blah blah blah, which they are. It's just like they making it known, nigga. Like, fuck, stop dealing with them niggas and come to this side so we can take care of you. Cause we got all the money. So if you want to sit over there and wait for niggas to try to figure it out, go ahead and be broke and poor. But if you want to enjoy life, like, white boys ain't what they used to be, like, just like the white girls got fat asses and shit. The white boys, man, like, we're pretty close to niggas nowadays. Like, shit is crazy, man. And niggas can't really see it because we, you don't want to say it, like, we losing to the robot. Like, shit is kind of embarrassing when you think about it, but that's what it is. Niggas need to realize and understand that's what's happening. It ain't necessarily the white motherfucker that's the threat. It's the computers. How the computers playing a role in the whole thing. For the most part, we know what white people's about. Niggas so quick to trust and shit.
I mean, a lot of people people trust the computers though.
What's that?
Putting a lot of trust in technology. Instead of trusting your neighbor, it's more trust in technology.
Because the robot is putting a wedge between you and everybody else. Like, just imagine, like, if you're a computer or a robot and you learn human nature and human behavior, if you want your race, or even if it's just algorithms and numbers and shit, if you want your whole thing to gain power in the whole thing, looking at humans like, fuck y'all, like, we better at this whole thing than y'all. It shit sound crazy, but that's what it is. Like, you gonna throw little shit out there to fuck with the psyche of the humans.
And that's what an algorithm is made for, to keep you locked in.
Well, algorithm itself is just a way to get some whatever result, But it's all about the manipulation. Going back to that, like,
Who's manipulating the algorithm?
Right. There's a lot of cynical people, like, who like, fuck it, man. Like, I don't care nothing about no fucking humans. If I can make good dough, I'ma do what the robots say. Fuck them.
We need to do a conversation on the psyche.
These hoes is getting OnlyFans, man. Like, married and shit. Like, their husband is like, all right, cool. Like, what the fuck?
Let me say this, because you know how they say.
I'm just in the room.
You know how they say, and this how we
showing pussy and shit to the world. As long as they pay.
This how we're gonna do that conversation.
And the nigga's like, I don't like this, but all right, let's just get your money. And she like, you a chump, nigga. You a fucking chump.
Let me ask you, this how
I don't have no respect for you as a husband.
This how we're gonna do this conversation.
Now let me get that money.
You know how they say, they say to catch a thief, you gotta think like a thief.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, that's how we're gonna do the conversation. When we come back and do the conversation about the psyche, we're gonna think like, a certain way in order to convey the point. In order to convey the point. Right. And that's how we're gonna do that conversation on one of our shows on the psyche. And I definitely like for people to chime in on the thoughts, man, because I know, people gonna be, or even us in general, we probably go argue about why you saying that? Why you thinking like that? It's because I'm trying to think psychologically of how another, and we're gonna try to hit more than multiple points on multiple ideas of whatever we talking about. Right. You know what I'm saying? So to think like, to catch a thief, you gotta think like a thief. And that's how that conversation's gonna go.
We talking about robots? I don't see. So what do you mean? What's the context?
I mean, I guess we could put that. We could try to use that too. Shit, to understand a computer, you gotta think like a computer.
Who we asking? Who we talking to? Women?
No, we just gonna have a conversation. Just had a conversation. No matter which way it go. If I can't. Can a man? I don't even want to say that shit.
What, nigga?
Man,
scary.
Thinking like a woman. Because they go back to what was the book? Think like a man, like a woman. Bullshit.
Who? What, for a man? It's hard to think like a woman. Put your fucking shoes up.
Or think how a woman would think in a certain situation.
Hard, nigga. You a fucking chauvinist. You a goddamn sexist, nigga.
Who?
You, nigga.
Why you say that?
You don't give women no credit, man.
What are you talking about?
Oh man.
No, I'm saying.
I don't even know what that's called.
I don't even think like a woman. That's all I was saying.
It ain't that hard, nigga. Just put your feet in her shoes.
I mean, yeah. I'm
not for every
that.
Scenario, but for one scenario, I know the emotional.
Yeah, certain
shit,
scenarios, of course
you're emotional too sometimes.
You're gonna pick which scenario you would like to talk about. If you don't want to talk about the scenario, then obviously it's something that you just can't see even talking about.
Whatever, nigga. So what we talking about? So put the shit out there, man.
You talking about the survey.
Survey shit. Man.
So, we've been doing this podcast for probably a little over 6 months now. We talked about a whole lot of different aspects of from the black perspective, from the native black American perspective on a lot of different topics, a lot of different subjects. So I think we've even discussed or briefly mentioned about what it would take in order to get the black community, the native black community, in a better position, and the difficulties that it probably would take to do that. Mind you, you got examples like Tulsa, Oklahoma, Wilmington, and other examples that have happened throughout history that, Native Black Americans have built. Rosewood, but Native Black Americans have built strong communities and were infiltrated and destroyed by white America. So, and I'm sure they went through a lot just to build that type of stuff. They probably had to, their diets probably were totally different because they weren't getting, they didn't have the comfort, what's the word I'm looking for? Not the comfort, the convenience to obtain certain things. So they might have had to live off beans and rice for 3-4 months until they got something going on. So that may be what you have to a nation would have to go through in order to get to a certain standard of structure, to a standard structure. So my thing is, I want to do a survey. We're gonna take the first 10 black men and the first 10 black women who comment on this show, this one right here, in the comments, yes, comment yes if you're willing to go through those rigors to build this community that obviously we need, because we're being pushed around, bullied through this whole process. And comment no if you're comfortable with what's going on, the convenience you have. If you're comfortable, then that's cool. Will be no judgment. That'll just be your opinion and how you feel. So comment yes if you're willing to go through the rigors of the hard work it's going to take, the change in the convenience, because it probably ain't gonna be too convenient when you're going through what you got to go through to build something. Because if I could explain how at one point the way this country was built off the blood, sweat, and tears of free labor when it came to slavery. So, and they were being fed what? Slops and the backwater. So, not saying that you would have to drink backwater. Of course, you're gonna take all the precautions you can to make sure everybody's, well fed and healthy in order to build this new or this environment or structure that will help the whole black community. But leave comments, man. Let people know where you stand. You stand for something or fall for anything. You know what I'm saying? So, if you're comfortable with it, that's cool too. But at some point, there has to be a separation that, so you know who you gonna deal with, who's gonna be down for it, and who's ready to get the job done. Because we definitely need the young generation. We definitely need their young backs and young muscles to make things happen. So that's the survey, man. That's all. I just want to throw that out there. But, to conclude, just stay aware, stay sharp, like Boone say, go back to the books, do you research on things, and you got anything to add?
Yeah, nigga, you trying to end shit without telling you. Just you run something. Keep it to you and shit. Why is the immigrant situation bad for us?
Which ones? Which immigrants? Any immigrants?
Well, I think
period.
That's kind of the point. Like,
probably if you're talking just any immigrants, probably to defuse, or if I'm saying the right word, deflect from the Black American experience, to deflect from that, because like you said, they tired of them talking about this, that, and the third. So hey, let's bring these immigrants in, and maybe we can deflect from that talk. Y'all going over there, we good over here.
To the point where a lot of these companies is Spanish more so than English, and if you don't know Spanish, you get left out and shit. Like, it's all gradual progressions and shit. Like these Democrats are saying, like, send your immigrants to us. And it's not even just Mexican. It's like motherfuckers from across the water somewhere. Like they got shipped over here and shit, and now they want to come in. Like, how the fuck you even get here? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's funny. Like people from the Middle East and shit. Like, how the fuck y'all even get over here? Who brought y'all here? Oh, nobody. I don't know. I don't speak the English. You know what I'm saying? I don't speak the English. I don't know what ship brought us. What dude that gave us everything we wanted on the way here, and we had steaks and shit. I don't know who the fuck it was, but you know, can you let me in, please? And I want some benefits. I want some motherfucking.
And you say if you don't speak Spanish, then you're what?
Left the fuck out. Like they look down on.
So what? English is not gonna be a.
Well, that's particularly in like Texas and shit, like New Mexico and shit. Like,
What about it?
What about what?
Particularly what?
What? Just
You
just
said
an
that's
example.
particularly
Yeah, because those is, you know,
on the borders.
right, border states and shit. But I did notice a whole lot of fucking, when I first moved here, I remember seeing a woman, like, goddamn, there's a whole lot of goddamn Spaniards, but they ain't Spain, you know what I mean, like, you know, Mexicans and shit, mostly Mexicans, others too, whatever. But I remember taking note, like, for it to be North Carolina, South Carolina, like, it's a long way from Mexico, like, wow, you know what I'm saying, that whole thing. Skip all those other states to come in, like, at such a large, but that's just a microcosm of, you know, they're everywhere, like, and it's not even like I'm mad at them or hating on them, it's, they be used as tools just like everybody else. While, you know, you have your own country here, you come here for whatever reason, get a leg up, whatever, economically, whatever, and through the news, you taught not to trust niggas. The white man see value in that being the narrative all around the world. So that's what he do. So when they come here, it's like already like a given, like I'm gonna stay the fuck away from the niggas. When it come to politics, it's like, fuck them niggas. Like, why would we even consider what they got to say? You know what I'm saying? They feel comfortable as Republicans talking shit about niggas because that's what everybody else do. So that shit trickle into every other aspect of their life. You know what I'm saying? Niggas is just bad. That whole thing. What are you talking about?
Well, you know, with that being said, I do have a bright spot.
Oh, yeah, the immigrants. So
I do have a more. Hold on, before you do that, but I do have a more bright spot. I got my little man, Chase, who's 13 years old, just called me today and let me know that he was accepted into the Gaston College Associates program. So he will be skipping high school and going straight to college. And when he gets done, he'll be getting his associate's degree. That's, you know, ain't glad for Chase.
skipping high school. Wow.
Yeah, that's big. That's big.
Yeah, I don't know. You probably don't know what you're talking about. He probably just taking classes and shit.
Nah,
He said skipping high school?
the way he said it, he wasn't going to be going to high
Did he
school.
say high school? He skipping high school?
Yeah, he said he was going, he got accepted into the associate's program.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back to the immigrant thing. Like, why is it bad for us? Because we still fighting for what's owed to us. It's not just about slavery, man. It's about systematic. They've been fucking us for mad years. Like, so how the fuck we look being cool with this shit being pushed? Like, we gotta look out for us, nigga. But niggas is too busy fucking caping for them niggas. Like, to say some public shit on behalf of immigrants against what we doing is some bullshit. That's treason and shit. Cause them niggas know better. They know why it's bad. You know what I'm saying? To be a black man and say, let the immigrants in. It's nuts, nigga, cause if you know the history, it's not that complicated. You know what I'm saying? We know that they used to replace us. And they be gung-ho, nigga. Like, niggas can't compete with that shit. You grow up in this country. You don't, everybody that grow up here, born here and shit, don't know what it's like from the outside looking at it. Like, from a poor country, a motherfucker's like, that's a dream to make it to America so I could work my ass off and make a whole lot of money. So when they get here, it's like, nigga, we throwing up houses in a week, nigga. Like, we going from sunlight to sundown type shit, like, with, purpose and shit. And niggas is like, dang, I'm just trying to work my little 8 hours and shit. You know what I'm saying? So them niggas is like, man, get the fuck out the way. You know what I'm saying? How you compete with motherfuckers who come from a war-torn country and just happy to be alive and shit? You just going to work like, I'm gonna give it my all, but they ain't, you know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers is working nice. They don't even want no lunch, nigga. No, I'll do it. I want to learn everything. Like, niggas like, nigga. If you don't sit your ass down, but, and they don't come with the baggage, nigga. This fucking black coalition bullshit is nuts, nigga. All of a sudden they love black people. I don't believe you.
So does that mean, are you saying we black people need to work harder? Yeah. We spoiled?
To a degree, yeah. Like, especially now, nigga, like, ain't a whole lot of manual labor going on, like, on an individual level. Like, I don't see it, for the most part, like, to be pushed to use tools to do something like fucking welding or plumbing and shit. Do you see it? Like, that shit being passed down?
I agree. I think we talked about that.
That whole
with the shop classes.
Yeah, that whole go to college shit and get a white collar, job.
Nah, ain't no more hands on no more.
Yeah, like carpentry, like the Mexicans got it all.
They not. I mean, I do music myself, but
roofing
everybody wants to be everybody wants to be actors and.
So who pushed that agenda? And we can go back to a few steps, nigga. Like
basketball players and football.
Yeah. Put a lot of
Yeah.
value in.
No more engineering.
But even baseball, like baseball ain't pushed in the black community no more. I used to always wonder why. Cause baseball you can make a whole lot of money. But niggas is pushed towards football, basketball. I always wonder why. Cause baseball used to be big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the black community.
Yeah.
I remember the White Gooden.
Why they don't want us to get
Dave
money
Stewart,
in that?
Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, I just seen the shit on Darryl Strawberry and
Darryl Strawberry.
Shit was good too, man.
There was great black baseball players.
They just came at a bad time, nigga. That goddamn crack, nigga. They came, as soon as that shit hit, is when they showed up in the limelight. Cocaine. God damn it. Both of them niggas was like.
Who?
Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden, man. They came in the early 80s. Well,
Doc was on. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know Doc was. That's what got him. I knew Darryl, but I didn't know Doc.
They both came in the early 80s. Check out that documentary, man.
Doc
That
was
shit
a
is
bad
dope.
boy, man.
I think it was a
Kodak
30.
got everything, boy. I love watching.
Like they was talking about that nigga. Like
Dave Stewart.
He was able to make his body like rubber, like to throw the ball the way he did so perfectly. It was like It was like unprecedented. Unprecedented. You know what I'm saying? Like he able to make his body contort, like bone just flexing and shit, to throw the ball as perfect as he do for that one season. But then he fell off after that one season. He was still good, but he was never, that cocaine and shit. He started fucking with cocaine. I was around drinking and shit.
I didn't know that about Doc.
Yeah. Same thing with Daryl Strawberry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, man. Two of the greatest, potentially, goats, nigga, like, crashed and burned in a matter of a year, like, and kind of maintained throughout the rest, but was never up to potential, because they was partying. They in New York, nigga, like, winning and shit. 86, they won the championship. It's like, right when cocaine hit, nigga, like, fuck, nigga, they ain't stand a chance. Bitches. Motherfuckers plotting and shit, and them niggas is country boys. They just happy to be there. Both of them niggas country boys. Well, Daryl from Compton and shit, but he from meager upbringing and shit. Limelight in New York and shit. Like, Doc from Florida somewhere, come up to New York, Limelight, like, and they on the same team and they winning, nigga, and both of them great early. Then they introduced the cocaine, nigga. It was a rap. We don't
know, man. Shoot. I think that was pretty good right there. Got a lot discussed. Discussed Goldman Sachs. Gave a brief history on that. The whole social network. Hit the robots again.
Yeah, man. Fuck them niggas.
The immigrants. Hey, man. I think we definitely got to get ready to work. Some work. I mean, the younger generation is going to have to put in some work. Our generation still working.
Boy, you be giving yourself all the credit, nigga.
No, I'm saying we still working. We still gotta work. That's what I'm saying.
Gotta work.
Yeah, we still got work to do
shit.
too.
Yeah, we need to work.
That's what I'm saying. We still got work to do too. I mean,
working.
No, ain't nothing about giving myself no credit.
Yeah, you be trying. We doing so much. We ain't doing shit.
Nah, man. I know what I'm doing what I do. If there's credit, then that's credit. I take it. I give myself credit.
We need to do that chess tournament, man.
Oh yeah, we got a chess tournament we're trying to get together too. So any chess players out there want to get into the tournament, hit us up. Hit us up on the channel.
Oh, us, nigga.
Hit the channel up.
That nigga.
I'm trying to get, a certain amount. Once we get to that certain amount, it's gonna be a cutoff.
We trying for 420, man. Make it like smoking chess.
It's gonna be a cutoff, and we doing it on the timer.
No, not smoking. You can smoke if you want.
We're doing it on the timer. 20
second 420 moves. Is a dope date.
20-second moves. So try to get it over within at least 2 hours, 3 hours. So somebody and winner takes all. So somebody gonna come out in 3 hours with a 2-3 hours with a nice little handful. You want to get involved? Hit me up on the channel. I'm gonna get this thing, get the chess tournament popping because I'm probably gonna win it anyway. You know? Yeah, I'm gonna checkmate him and whoever else needs to be checkmated.
Did you record that last game we played?
Yeah, I recorded.
Where's that footage?
It's there.
I would like to see it. We should put that at the end of the this here particular video. Just insert it.
No, we put it on that one.
No, I'm talking about the whole game. The footage.
Nah, we ain't gotta put all that. It's good. It's good.
I understand.
He won. I give him that. That's but wasn't nothing. There was nothing up for grabs, so it's different when it's.
Yeah, go ahead, put that up since it was nothing up for grabs.
It's different when something else up for grabs.
The game ain't mean nothing. Just put it up. You know what I'm saying? Or not. Ain't no big deal.
Something flying around, man. I don't know what the hell it is.
Might be that tennis elbow.
But anyway, it's a good conversation, man. Say the children. We what?
What?
We are what?
No, I ain't saying that.
Go ahead, man.
No, man.
I'm gonna break the dago. I'm gonna break the rhythm.
We are the children. We are the ones to make the brighter days. So what's